Bhavya from Phone Tactics, and in this video I will tell you about the battle between Qualcomm Snapdragon based processor versus the Mediatek processor. So first I will tell you these are not the only two processors that we found in the smartphone, but there are many more processors that the Apple architects, the Apple A9 processors, A lineup of series, and the Samsung just power their phone with the Exynos processor but the Exynos processor is only restricted to Samsung phones. So there are other vendors also, but in this video I will tell you only about the Snapdragon and the Mediatek processors. So ARM architects the Snapdragon and Mediatek processors. ARM gives the license to the Snapdragon and Mediatek processors. So I would say Snapdragon is much more powerful than this Mediatek processors, as there are two main cons with the Mediatek processors. First, it heats up a lot than the Snapdragon processor. First. Second is battery life. You will get much more better battery life in the if you have a Snapdragon based processor and if you compare it with a Mediatek based processor. So these are the main two cons of the Mediatek chipsets. But one main con of Snapdragon processor is Snapdragon processor will be a little bit higher in price if you compare it with the Mediatek processor. So if you see a 5 to 6,000 rupees phone, you will 90% of the phones will power with a Mediatek chipset, because the Mediatek is less pricey than this Snapdragon processor. Snapdragon also have some Snapdragon 200, 210 processors. So why the vendors does not power their phone with these 200, 210 chipsets in their 5 to 6,000 rupees phone? Because these 200, 210 chipsets are not good as compared to Mediatek chipsets which they power in their 5 to 6,000 rupees phone. So I would say Helio X10 or X20 is a good processor in my opinion, but the highest processor of Mediatek, that is the Helio, I think so it's the Helio X20 or P10. I don't if we compare it with the Helio X20 is the highest processor, and the mid-range processor of this Snapdragon, that is the Snapdragon 650 processor. If we compare it with the 650 versus the X20, that is the highest versus the mid-ranger of Snapdragon. So the mid-ranger of Snapdragon is far better optimized and far better processor than this Mediatek's highest processor. So that's one pro in this Snapdragon processor, as Snapdragon processors are much more powerful, but you didn't get better battery life, and the Mediatek processor also heats up a lot in my opinion. So if you want to have a Snapdragon processor in your phone, then you have to spend some more money in investing a smartphone. But Xiaomi does this thing better, as in Redmi Note 3, which sells for only 10,000 rupees. It is powering a 650 Snapdragon 650 processor. So that's a great thing in my opinion, as other vendors think that our price range will be less. So we will some smartphones are selling for 10,000, 12,000 rupees, but they are powering a Mediatek processor to have some money gain in it, have some profit in it, as the Mediatek chipset is much lesser pricer than this Snapdragon processor. So these are my sense for the Snapdragon processor versus the Mediatek processor. I hope you like it. If you like this video, do hit the like button and do subscribe if you haven't already. I hope to see you in my next video.